Melissa, and my company, my friends here, my colleagues, and I'd like to thank you so much for the cooperation and your assistance.
Thank you very much, guys. We're looking forward to it, guys. Guys, are you looking forward to this lecture?
Yes.
Right? Thank you very much.
Hi guys, how are you?
Yes.
I'm good, thank you. Guys, before we begin, can everybody please scan the QR code to give the consent as well as the one on the process and okay, guys, with it's first gonna ask you guys to sign in. That's okay for me to continue.
Can we have that code again?
Okay guys, by way of introduction, I'd like to introduce my friends here. Firstly, I have Lebohang Zulu, who's a final year LLB student and she currently majors in cyber law, street law, corporate governance as well as tax law. Secondly, I have Pololo Gianni, who's also a final year LLB student. She currently majors in cyber law, street law, corporate governance as well as advanced family law. Last but not least, me, my name is Tiamu Lozwalo. I'm also a final year LLB student and I currently major in cyber law, street law, corporate governance as well as tax law. So guys, have you guys ever heard of street law? Nothing. Okay, so by show of hands, who can tell me what they think street law means?
Rules of the street.
So guys, basically street law aims to teach lay people about the basic principles and elements of the law that they can use in the everyday practice. So lay people, does everybody know what lay people are? So lay people is basically people who aren't in the law profession. So you guys who are in the law profession, you guys are not lay when it comes to law. So when it comes to medicine, we all are lay people because we know nothing about the medical practice. Do you all understand? So basically, street law tries to teach people about the practical elements of the law that they can use on the streets, so you can law. In addition, the program aims to give insight to law students on some of the challenges faced by the communities as well as themselves. Street law enables students to empower laypersons by providing them with practical information about the law and how it can be used in their everyday lives. So guys, today the topic at hand is marital rape. Before we commence, I'm gonna give you guys two scenarios that for me were very alarming. So first scenario was given to me by my lecturer. It's about consent. I want you guys to tell me at the end of the lesson whether which scenario gave consent and which scenario didn't give consent. So let's say I'm married to my wife, right? And my wife says to me, Abi, anytime you want to have sex, anytime, any place, you can have it. Scenario number one. Scenario number two, recently, and that also is part of the major reason as to why I chose this topic. About 2 weeks ago, I was on a phone call with a female friend of mine. He was telling me about some other relationship she had with a guy of hers, a talking stage or whatever, and then they got involved, they got intimate, and she said to me that she wasn't sure whether she gave consent or not. She said to me that she didn't really give consent the way she wanted to, and that she felt rushed, that it didn't really happen at her own terms or at her own pace. Now, I need you guys at the end of the lesson to tell me between those two scenarios which one was consent and which one wasn't consent. So marital rape is as follows. Any act of unwanted intercourse or sexual penetration that occurs with force, threats, or due to a victim being asleep or intoxicated. Marital rape is constitutionally recognized as a crime in South Africa under the Domestic Relations Act 2000. There's a general consent that many women, like my female friend, who are victims of marital rape but have difficulties in identifying what marital rape or what rape actually is. Marital rape is when one spouse forces themselves onto another without the consent of the latter. So guys, marital rape doesn't only happen within marriages, it can also happen in other relationships, same-sex relationships, whether you guys are in the talking stage or whether you guys are just dating or whatever. No is no, and sex without consent is rape. So these are the issues that are concerned when it comes to marital rape or rape. The most common question asked is whether it's possible to be raped by your own spouse. The second issue is the concerning increase of marital rape in South Africa, and I think the most common issue is the underreporting of marital rape by victims. And then lastly, the issue in identifying how marital rape relates to sexual violence. Thank you guys so much for your attention. I now hand on the baton to my learned colleague who will take you guys through the rule of law when it comes to marital rape.
Thank you to my colleague. Good afternoon, guys. My name is Gianni. So basically, I'm doing the rule of law. So basically what the law says. Remember, we can all have our own definitions and understanding of something, but it all boils down to what the law has to say. So remember, in court, you'll be judged based on what the law says. So you don't want to find yourself making sure you're not dropping the soap because you did not know the law. So Section 3 of the Criminal Amendment Act provides that any person who unlawfully and intentionally commits an act of sexual penetration without consent of the other is guilty of the offense of rape. But with Section 56 of the same act now includes everyone. That means even if you're married, same-sex marriage, girlfriend and boyfriend, situationship, friends with benefits. I know we have a lot of relations nowadays, but where there's no consent and it's unlawful, it comes down to rape. In a survey conducted by SAPS between the period of 2003 and 2009, they reported that cases of rape rose from 66,000 to 71,000. But then in 2014, the Institute of Security Studies found that these numbers are actually not a true reflection because women now were starting not to report these incidences due to fear of the legal process, rudeness of the SAPS, and having to go through what happened to you over and over again due to a trial, or you have to say it to someone else, then they postpone, you come back again, they postpone, you come back again, the file is missing, docket lost, brown envelopes exchange hands, and you're busy coming back. Hence, even though the numbers had gone down to 142 a day, which is still a lot, you can imagine 142 cases of rape a day. It's still a lot, but it's still not a true reflection of the numbers because women are choosing not to report them anymore. In a case R versus K, the court stated that the accused must intend to use because traditionally the woman does not initiate sex. It's the man that decides when it happens, how it happens. So it becomes very confusing for women to actually say, I've been raped by my husband or boyfriend. And in this particular case, S versus America, the perpetrator actually said, do I now have to put an application to have sexual relations with my wife? It also highlighted that the perpetrators are usually themselves victim of abuse, child trauma, or they're in some form of addiction, alcohol, drugs, and all of that. And the victims often and most times don't even know that they're actually victims of rape. Because remember, society says, as a woman, you submit. Basically, if I marry you, you lose your rights as a woman. So if I want to have sex today, now, it will happen. Whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. Hence, most women would even be afraid to report it. You can imagine going to the SAPS and be like, no, go talk it over. This is your husband. And so, which is why most women would end up not reporting these cases. I'd now like to hand over to my colleague, Penny Lewis.
Thank you to my dear colleague. I'll pass you guys through the elements of rape. Do you guys perhaps know what elements of rape need to be present for a perpetrator to be convicted? You don't? Okay, of course. Okay. Elements of rape that need to be present: sexual penetration of another person must have occurred, lack of consent of the latter person, unlawfulness and intention. All these four elements need to be present for a perpetrator to be convicted. In conclusion, rape within marriage constitutes as a sexual violence, although many proponents of this practice are sometimes reluctant to accept this classification. The erroneous belief justifying rape in marriage as an act of aggregation is based on the misconception that the institution of marriage itself is originally founded on male supremacy over a woman's body, which gives the man the right to isolate his wife's spouse as a corrective practice. Women are often encouraged by family members not to involve third parties into their marriages because we so believe that including a third person will break the marriage. So hence, most cases are not reported in South Africa. Thank you guys for lending us your ear today. Do you guys have any questions?
When you were mentioning the elements of rape, right? You said they mentioned 4. So then is it only then when there's the 4 that has been mentioned, it's then considered as rape, or like is it like 2 out of the 4, 3 out of the 4, or
4 of them need to be present for it to be considered rape.
Remember, it used to be proof beyond or without. Some of them need to be present.
Any other question? Okay, if you guys can kindly please scan this QR code, it will take you guys to our true or false questions that we have as a way of participation for today. You can kindly fill in your email and name, and then I'll take you guys through the quiz questions.
Guys, so basically with this game, so you can say true or false. We're gonna go through every question together. If it's false, I need the guys who are saying false to raise their hand and give an explanation.
Let me know once you're ready to go. Can I go through the first question? The aim of street law is not to teach people about the practical elements of the law that they could use on the street. Is it true or false? False.
Why is it false?
Because it's about to teach people about the practical elements.
Right?
When in a relationship, consent to get intimate is not needed. False.
because if you don't use it, like that's basically rape.
Right. Okay, so let's say throughout the whole week, you and your boyfriend are texting each other, say maybe Saturday it's gonna happen, Saturday, and then Saturday comes, you're like, I don't feel like it anymore. And then he says to you that, but you gave me consent.
No, on the day, like if the only time consent happens, like on the day, during the time.
So what if 5 minutes before you say?
No, then that's still rape.
Then,
Marital rape is recognized as a crime in South Africa. Is it possible to rape your own spouse? Only 3 of the 4 elements of rape need to be satisfied to prove rape.
okay, so guys, going back to those earlier scenarios that I proposed to you guys, I'm gonna repeat them again. So the first scenario, a wife and a husband are together, and the wife says to the husband, baby, if you wanna have sex anytime, any place, whether I'm asleep, drunk or what, we can have sex. That's their consent.
Well, it is, but to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Wait, by show of hands, yes for consent.
To a certain extent.
No,
Say, like,
no, no.
in between.
Yes for consent? Yes?
I say yes.
Why?
Because she literally told me that you can have sex with her at any point. Whether she's asleep, whether she's awake, she's giving you permission to have sex.
Yeah. Okay, and the one who was saying no consent?
Because, right, if, okay, fine, I agreed that at first, whenever, anytime is tea time, right? But then on a specific day, if I'm just like, I don't feel it, like I don't want to have sex, then obviously I won't have sex with you. But the guy could be like, no, but you said anytime is tea time. So that's why I was saying in between. Because yes, I said, okay, cool, we can have sex anytime. But if I don't want to, I don't want to, and you can't tell me because I agreed the first time around that we can have sex.
Right? So then, with that, it's a very gray area right now in our law because it's difficult, even because now if you say now, if you instituted claims, I mean the charges, the onus is on you to now prove that
I need to make him happy, I need to do that, I need to do that. So
Thank you guys so much for being with us today. Please get this last one to rate us.
that's these guys. Yes, yes.
It's not true. It's false. One question.
I don't know.
Is it possible to rape your own spouse? We say true, right?
Yeah, we said true.
Yeah, and then
It's actually false.
it's false. So maybe it's unconditional.
Or it's probably